Okay, so next up is The Ridiculous Six. It stars, and I use the word very, very loosely, Adam Sandler, who also co-wrote the movie, as well as Rob Schneider, Taylor Lautner off of Twilight, Jorge Garcia, and Nick Nolte, all of whom seem to be just there for the money and absolutely nothing else. It is available on Netflix, part of a 4-movie deal. Now, it would have been perfectly easy for me to just walk into this as this just being yet another Adam Sandler bashing session. And I'll be honest, I didn't want that to be the case because this is supposed to be the future now. In the future, when movies are released, they will be released both simultaneously on demand on sites like Netflix or Amazon Prime, and also in the cinema. And it'll be up to us, the consumer, to determine whether or not we go to the cinema or we watch it at home. That apparently is the future. When I first heard about this, I thought it would be something interesting, that maybe, just maybe, Adam Sandler is doing something truly innovative. That he's actually going to do something that's going to further the cause of cinema, rather than seemingly want to burn it to a crisp, as almost every movie he makes wants to do. And when I heard that it was going to be a Western, then I was slightly apprehensive about it, but at the same time, with it being a Western, you can't have obnoxious product placement, you can't make weird pop culture references, so he can tighten those bits back, pull them back, and just focus on making a comedy movie. And with it being a Western, that means they actually have to put the effort into shooting on location, on actually having actual sets to work with and real costume, and the sets and the costume in this movie are probably the only things worth talking about because they are in some way interesting. Everything else about this movie is utterly tripe. Adam Sandler is by far and away the absolute worst thing about this movie, as it seems that even now Adam Sandler hates Adam Sandler movies now. All throughout this movie, he just looks totally soulless, as though he's just this husk, this mannequin, this puppet just shuffling along like the living dead on the screen, with no effort put into anything. I suppose the argument you can make in his defence is that his character is supposed to be cool and tough and hard, and that he doesn't need to be all emotional because he can just be cool, calm, Adam Sandler. But really that just comes off as him not wanting to be there at all. And he's there dressed as a Native American Indian with a wig on, and it just looks embarrassing all the way through. People have written large articles about the racism within this movie. I'm not going to get into that because the racism within it is just self-evident. Things have been written about it. There was a story about a year ago about Native American cast members walking out over character names and how their culture was treated, and that's a whole other matter that I'm not going to get into. The movie itself is just dire, absolutely dire. It is 2 hours long. I watched this for 2 hours and was bored rigid. There are jokes in it, it's just that more often than not they don't land because they're delivered in such a bored, blasé, laissez-faire kind of way. And Adam Sandler spends his entire mumbling. So when he has this big emotional scene with Nick Nolte towards the start of this movie, you don't understand a single word that's being said. It's just Adam Sandler going, then Nick Nolte. If you've ever heard Nick Nolte, he has this really gravelly, raspy voice that you can't understand at the best of times. So it's Adam Sandler going, and Nick Nolte going, for 10, 15 minutes or 3 hours or however long that scene goes on for. There's only one moment at all is anywhere near funny, which is the moment where they're all playing baseball, which feels as if it's just been parachuted in from a different movie. If this is supposed to be the future of cinema, this is supposed to be the way in which all cinema is going, with it being both simultaneously on demand and in the cinema, which incidentally this movie isn't. It is just online. It is just a Netflix thing. It's part of a 4-movie deal, which makes me very, very terrified and apprehensive as to what the future holds for this. I am not looking forward to what's coming up next if this is the fate of things. This is the most viewed movie in Netflix's history. My word. Just avoid it. Luckily, it's only online. Luckily, it's only on streaming services, so avoiding it is a very easy thing to do, but even if you're just going to watch it to rip it to shreds, to just laugh at it, don't, because it's not worth it. It really isn't worth it.